Being wise and being seen as wise are not the same. People might laugh at you, doubt you, or completely misunderstand your actions. But true wisdom is knowing what you're doing and staying calm even when the world questions you. Success doesn't come from applause or attention. It comes from patience, quiet confidence, and the ability to make the right choice at the right time. Today's story is a powerful reminder of that. Today we're going to talk about two types of people: those who do little but talk a lot, and those who do a lot but speak very little. They laughed at Marcus because every week he put $20 into an envelope labeled silver. Then one Tuesday morning, the car wouldn't start. Overtime was at risk, and the rent was almost due. He opened a drawer, and everything shifted. But what saved him wasn't just the money. It wasn't a cruel kind of laughter. It was the casual kind. Half joking, half dismissive. The kind people use when they see someone being too disciplined, and it makes them uncomfortable. At the warehouse, payday usually came with two things. Some people walked out of the gate talking about new rims, a new phone, a weekend trip, or a guaranteed win bet later that night. Marcus walked out with exactly one difference. His wallet was missing $20. Because that $20 had already been tucked into a wrinkled envelope, folded so many times the paper had gone soft. Not a banking app, not a sophisticated investment plan, just an envelope with one word written across it in bold letters: silver. One time, a guy standing behind Marcus at the vending machine noticed it. "Hey man," he laughed. "Saving your lunch money?" Another voice jumped in. "He's building generational wealth. $20 a week." The group burst out laughing. Marcus didn't argue. He didn't explain. He just smiled. The quiet smile of someone who doesn't want to turn something personal into a public debate. And if you've ever been the silent person in a loud room, you know how much effort that smile takes. Because the truth is, Marcus wasn't saving money because it was cute. Marcus saved because he was afraid. Not the dramatic kind of fear people post online, the practical kind. Rent, gas, groceries. A child growing up who somehow needs new shoes every few months, as if that's nature's joke. And a car that had started making sounds. The kind you learn to ignore when you don't have another option. There's something people don't see from the outside. A lot of people in America live paycheck to paycheck, not because they're reckless. They live that way because modern life has a way of charging extra fees simply for existing. One small surprise and everything starts tilting. The Federal Reserve has surveyed people for years about their ability to handle a small emergency expense. Depending on the year, a significant share, roughly 4 out of 10 adults, would have to borrow, sell something, or miss a bill, just to cover a few hundred unexpected dollars. That number isn't just a statistic, it's a sound. It's the feeling of your stomach dropping when your phone vibrates, and you already know the news won't be good. Marcus carried that sound inside him almost every day, so he created a small pocket of silence for himself. $20. Every Friday. Silver. And this is the kind of thing nobody applauds, because it's not impressive. It's not a before and after photo. It doesn't look like intelligence. It looks like scarcity. Until the week when life decides to test you. Tuesday morning, still dark outside. The cold made the steering wheel feel like a block of metal. Marcus sat down, turned the key, and waited for the usual coughing shake of the engine. Click. Nothing. He tried again, as if the second time could change the laws of physics. Click. The dashboard lights flickered weakly like a tired heartbeat. Marcus stared for a few seconds without moving, not because he didn't know what to do, but because his mind had started doing math. He didn't have time to solve. His shift started in an hour. Overtime season had just begun, and overtime was the only reason this month's rent might clear without late fees. He still called his manager, his voice steady, like a grown man who had everything under control. "My car won't start. I'm working on it." There was a pause on the other end. Not anger. This is something many people misunderstand. Most bosses aren't villains. They're just managing a schedule, and that schedule doesn't care how panicked you are. "If you can make it, come in," the manager said. "We're short today." Then the call ended. Marcus stepped outside and opened the hood. He didn't really know what he was looking at. Most of us don't. We stare at an engine the same way we stare at a hospital bill, as if looking long enough might make it explain itself. He called a towing service. The price sounded polite, until you imagine the money leaving your bank account. Just the tow could be over $100 depending on distance. And once a mechanic starts talking about parts and labor, a small repair can jump to $500 without warning. Marcus thanked the dispatcher as if he weren't afraid, hung up, then opened his banking app. Not enough. Not enough if he didn't want to turn the rent into a question mark. And the worst part was this. It wasn't a tragedy. It was just a car. That's exactly what makes it cruel. It's Tuesday. It's life. Marcus went back inside and saw his wife in the kitchen, packing lunch like everything was normal. He didn't want to say it. Not because she couldn't handle it, but because he was tired of being the person who brought bad news home. Still, he said it. The car's dead. His wife didn't yell, didn't blame him. She was quiet for a moment. Then she asked the one question almost every couple asks in their own way. "How much?" Marcus didn't answer immediately. Not because he was hiding it, but because he knew the number he was about to say would change the atmosphere of the entire house. The rent was due Friday, and their landlord wasn't a movie villain either. He was just a man with a mortgage. Late rent means fees. Fees mean dominoes. You know how it goes. One late payment becomes two. Two becomes a scratch on your credit score. Then higher interest rates. Then you pay more money, just for the privilege of having less. Scarcity doesn't just thin your wallet. It narrows your mind. Under financial pressure, your brain starts making decisions like it's holding its breath. You stop thinking in months. You think in hours. You stop asking, "What's the best move?" You ask, "What hurts the least? Right now?" That's when people make what looks like a gold decision. A decision that seems smart in the moment, but expensive in the long run. A quick loan, maxing out a credit card, delaying the rent and hoping you can talk your way out of it later. Moves that buy today, by selling the next 3 months. Marcus walked into the bedroom and opened the top drawer of the dresser. Under socks, bills, and the quiet debris of everyday life was a small box. Inside were a few envelopes. Not dozens, not a treasure chest, just a few. Each one dated, each one thin. But together, They carried a quiet weight. Marcus pulled out the silver envelope. It didn't contain wealth. It contained breathing room. He counted, slowly, because counting money you saved feels very different from counting money you owe. There was enough for the tow, enough for the likely repair, enough so the rent wouldn't become a negotiation. His wife looked at him, and you could see it instantly in her shoulders. A tiny release, a tiny moment of breathing again. Then Marcus's phone buzzed again. A message from his manager. Any update? This is where the story could have turned another direction. This is where Marcus could have pretended everything was fine, skipped the shift, lost the overtime, and let the week swallow him whole. But he replied, "The car's being towed. I'll make it. Might be a little late." No drama, no heroics, just still in the game. The car got towed. The mechanic checked it. Battery and alternator problems, the kind that always show up at the worst time. Marcus paid without performing his pain. That's another thing people don't notice. When you have a cushion, you stop sending signals of desperation into the world. And when you don't signal desperation, the world treats you differently. Not because the world is kind, but because it responds to the energy you carry. Marcus caught a ride to work, clocked in late, but he clocked in. He worked the shift, then the overtime. Friday came. The rent was paid on time. No late fee, no "we'll figure it out later." No dominoes. A week later, during lunch break, the same coworker who had laughed at the envelope nudged Marcus. "Car fixed yet?" Marcus nodded. "How'd you pull that off?" Marcus could have given a speech, turned it into a lesson, but he said only one sentence. "I keep a little set aside." The coworker smirked. "Must be nice." Marcus didn't correct him, because that envelope wasn't nice. That envelope was boring. That envelope was Marcus saying no to hundreds of small temptations nobody saw. It was Marcus choosing the quiet thing when nobody was watching. And this is what I keep thinking about. $20 a week didn't make Marcus rich. It made him harder to break. It bought him time. And time is the most underrated form of money. Time lets you avoid bad decisions. Time lets you call your landlord before you have to beg. Time lets you show up to work instead of disappearing. Time lets you stay calm enough to be a decent father, even when fear fills your chest. People admire confidence when it's loud, but real confidence is quiet. It looks like an envelope. It looks like leaving a small space between you and disaster. And yes, people might laugh at you. They might say you're overly cautious. They might say you're living small. But the truth is, many people aren't living big. They're living fragile. They're one-tow truck away from collapse. So if right now you're doing something small, saving a little, learning something after work, turning down an impulse everyone else celebrates, you don't need to rush to explain yourself. Don't waste breath trying to look wise. Just stay steady, because results don't argue. And when that week arrives, the week that tries to tear you apart, you won't need other people to understand you. You'll need options. If you have your own version of a silver envelope, whatever it may be, tell me about it. And if you want more real-life stories like this, not loud, not dramatic, but the kind that stay with you longer than you expect, stay here, Choose silver and stay in the game. Thank you for taking the time to listen and for allowing me to be with you for the past few minutes. Have a good rest. Tomorrow is a new day. Wishing you peace and happiness.